Hello, good afternoon. Okay, I'm audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, wait a minute. We'll start. Okay. So in last lecture, we studied the various multiple encryption details with a DES algorithm. Okay. So the DES is the most important part from the second unit. So in a DES algorithm, we can study how we can generate the key as well as how we can encrypt the data by using the DES algorithm. Okay, so we take various examples also how we can convert our ciphertext into the plain text by using the this DES algorithm. So in DES, we can also study the sub type of DES algorithm that is called as a simplified DES algorithm. Okay, so in a simplified DES algorithm, we also studied the two types of generation. One is a key generation and another is a ciphertext generation. So for that we can study the algorithm in details. And the last point from the DS algorithm is that multiple encryptions. Okay, so in a DS algorithm there are mainly two types of multiple encryptions. One is with the help of two keys and another is with the help of three keys. So these are the multiple encryptions with a DES algorithm. So multiple means we can use more than one key. So that is called as a multiple encryption in a DES algorithm. So if we use the two key, so the one DES algorithm consists of 64-bit key size. So if we use two keys, so it should be 64 plus 64, that is a 128. So likewise we can use also three keys at a one time, that should be called as a triple encryption with a DES algorithm. So now the next point is the various mathematical concept regarding the DES algorithm. So we have to study the first concept is of a divisibility. Okay, so the basic meaning of divisibility is that so we can divide our integer numbers. So if the number is divided by some another number, so we can take various positive integers. Okay, so we can say that if we divide any non-zero numbers, so we can call as b divided by a. So we can take any positive integers and that positive integer can be we divide by some another integer, so that should be called as a divisibility. So if the number is completely divided, so there should be zero remainder. So if the remainder is zero, so we can call a is equal to m into b. So we can take various integers and we can check the condition of divisibility. So here we can take a one positive integer as a 24. Okay, so here for 24 we can check the number. So from which numbers the 24 number can be divided. So the numbers are, so the 24 can be divided by 1, also the 24 can be divided by 2, 24 can be divided by 3, again 4, 6, 8, 12 and 24. So 24 divided by 24. So these are the complete divisors of 24. So that is called as a divisibility. So in that case we can find out there should be not any remainder. So if the number is totally divided, we can call there should be a zero remainder. So if we divide 24 by 12, so it is completely divided. Okay, so likewise we can take any positive numbers for our divisibility concept. So the number is totally divided by that particular integers. So simply we can take a one example of a 24 and we can find out how many numbers are there which can divide our 24 number. So 24 number can be divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12 and 24. Wait a minute. Okay, so this is the concept of divisibility. So we have to find out the various divisors of the particular integers. So we can take some more examples. So the number 182 also divided by 13. Also the next one is a 30 also divided by minus 5, but the answer should be in a negative. So for divisibility, mostly we can take the positive integers. So likewise, the 289 number can be divided by 17 also. 33 can be divided by 3. Okay, so these are the common examples of the divisibility. So in a divisibility, we can simply find out how the number can be divided. So if there is any remainder or remainder should be 0. Okay, so we have to find out the multiple numbers. Okay, so if we take an example as a 24, so we have to find out the integers. Yeah, we have to find out the numbers for the 24. So the 24 is completely divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12 and 24. So if we go with the properties of divisibility, so we have a number of properties of divisibility. So based on this property, we can say that the number is properly divided. There should be not a remainder. So we can call it as the remainder is a 0. Okay. So here are the various properties of the divisibility. So if the a number is divided by 1, so then we can call it as it might be a positive number or negative number. So similarly, if a is divided by b and b is divided by a, means there are the two numbers and the two numbers are can be divided by each other. So we can take the example as a 10 and 20. So 10 can be divided by 20 also, and the 20 can be divided by 10 also. So in that case, we can say that A is equal to positive or negative B. So we can take positive integer as well as negative integer. So based on this property, so we can conclude our integers. So how the integers can be same or how the integers can be different. So here we can take the two examples. So here 11 and 66. So 66 divided by 11 and 198 divided by 66. So if we take these two examples, so can 66 is divided by 11? Yes. Can 66 divided by 11? If we
Yes, sir.
divide, okay, so if we divide 66, if we take this example, so there should be not, so it is a completely divisible. Okay, so answer should be 6. 66 divided by 11. So again 198 divided by 66. So it should be the answer. Yes. Is 198 completely divided by 66?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so these two numbers are completely divisible. So we can call these two numbers are equal. Okay, so we can call 66 divided by 11 is equal to 198 divided by 66. Okay, so based on the properties of divisibility, so we can conclude that or we can say that if the number is completely divided by a positive integer, so we can call these two numbers are equal to each other. Okay, so this is the properties of divisibility. Okay, so based on these properties, we can also say that how the numbers are equal to each other. So for that, we can take the one example. So in example, so we can call it as the two numbers. So everyone now focus on your screen. How we can consider the two numbers which are divisible completely, are equal. So for that we can take a one example. So the integer b divided by g and b divided by h, then we can say that b in modulus mg plus nh are equal. So how we can justify this particular property? So for that, we can take the particular example. So now focus on your screen. So in example, we have a various integers. Okay, so for that integers, we can first mention our properties of divisibility. So we can consider the value of b is equal to 7, the value of g is equal to 14, the value of h equal to 63, the value of m equal to 3, and the value of n is equal to 2. Okay, so first we can take the certain random values. So these are the given values. So based on these values, we have to check the condition or properties of divisibility. So what should the divisibility says? So the number b divided by g. So if we divide b and g, so here we can write 7 divided by 14. Okay, so the first thing is b divided by g. So 7 divided by 14, and second is b divided by h. So it is a b value of b 7,
7.
and what is the value of h? 63. So 7 divided by 63. Okay, so up to it understood.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now we have to justify the property. So how we have to rewrite these particular values in a divisibility theorem, in a divisibility properties? So what should be our concept? So there should be b into in modulus mg plus nh. Okay, so here we have a value of b is 7, so we can write 7, so in modulus, okay, m into g. So what is the value of m? So value of m is 3, value of g is 14, so 3 into 14, right, plus n into h. So the value of n is 2 and the value of h is 63. So we can call 2 into 63, right? So simply we can rewrite the property of divisibility with the help of numbers. So we can put the value of mg plus nh in modulus, and b we can multiply by b, that is a 7. Okay, so now if we have to rewrite, yeah, if I have to equal this total part, so how we can say that these two things, left hand side and right side, are equal? So for that we can first write our divisibility properties as it is. So that should be modulus of 3 into 14 plus 2 into 63. So that should be equal to, so our b that is a 7. So in a bracket, so first is a 3 and after that 14. So if we divide 14 by 7, so what should be the answer? 14 by 7. Yes, so 14 by 7 is 2. So that's why we can write, instead of 14, we can write a 2. So 3 into 2 plus, now 2. So here 2 into 63. So if we divide 63 by 7, so 63 by 7 is 9. So we can write 2 into 9. Okay, so based on this condition, we can say the left hand side and right side are equal to each other. Okay, so this is the properties of divisibility. So have you understood it? So how we can replace 14 by 2 and 63 by 9? So why we can replace 14 by 2? So here the property says we have to divide 14 by 7. That is a b divided by h. So 14 by 7 is 2 and 63 by 7 is 9. So we can here represent 9. Okay, so it is the property of divisibility. So next one is the division algorithm. So it is based on the concept of divisibility. So the statement of division algorithm is that, so for any positive integer and any non-negative integer a, if we divide a by n, then we'll get an integer quotient q and remainder r. Okay, so in short, the division algorithm states that, so if we divide any number, so if we divide 20 by 7, okay, so there should be some quotient and there should be some remainder. So if we divide 20 divided by 7, so can anyone tell what should be the quotient and what should be the remainder? Yes, quickly.
Question 2 and remainder 6.
Okay, so 7 14. So the quotient is 2
Question is 2.
and remainder is 6.
6.
Okay, so this quotient and remainder and our given value, that is a 20, so can represented by equation as a is equal to qn plus r. Okay, so in this example the q stands for the quotient and r stands for the remainder. Okay, so we'll explain this division algorithm in more detail. So here, in order to represent the division algorithm, so we have a multiple numbers, so we can take any positive integers for this particular division algorithm and we can check this particular example. Okay, so for before that, so if we take the value of uh, and so everyone focus on the given division algorithm. The statement of division algorithm is a is equal to qn plus r. Okay, so now I'll give you the value of a. So note down the value of a. So the value of a is 295. Okay, so first note down the value of a is 295 and the value of en is 29. So now tell me what should be the quotient and what should be the remainder. Yes, again I'll repeat the values. So the note down the first equation of division algorithm. A is equal to qn plus r. Okay, so the value of a is 295 and the value of en is 25. So now tell me the values of Q and R, quotient and remainder. So simply compare
Question
the left hand side and right hand side. Yes, so the quotient is
question is 10 and remainder is 5.
okay. So if we multiply 29 by 10, the answer is 290 and plus remainder is 5. So 290 plus 5, that is a 295. So left hand side is 295 and right hand side is also 295. So it is a statement of division algorithm. Okay, so okay, so if we take the more numbers, yeah, higher numbers, so how to represent these particular numbers by using the division algorithm? So for that, we can take the particular example. So we can represent our division algorithm by using the various positive integers. So here the demonstration of division algorithm, how we can represent the numbers, yeah, how we can represent the large number on, yeah, by using the division algorithm. Okay, so wait a minute. Okay. So if we take the number as a 70, so consider we can take the value of A is 70. Now everyone keep the statement of division algorithm in mind. That is A is equal to Qn plus R. So now we can take the value of A is 70. Okay. So and the value of En is 15. Okay, so keep in mind the value of A is 70 and the value of En is 15. Okay, so if we have to represent these value A and N on this particular demonstration, so we can take the integers, yeah, we can take the multiple integers of N. Okay, so here we can start with a 0, then n, then 2n, 3n, 4, 4n, 5n, likewise. Okay, so now we'll take this demonstration by using a simple example. So we have a value of en is 15, right? So here we can take start with a 0, then value of en is 15. That's why we can represent here 15. So after we have to take the multiples of n, that is a 2n, 3n, 4n, 5n. So we can take the value. Next is a 2n, that is a 30. After that 3n, that is a 40. 4n, that is a 60. 5n, that is a 75. Okay, so now but our value is 70. So the 70 is in between 60 and 75. Okay, so if we take the difference between these two values, so the difference between 70 and 60 is 10, and the difference between 75 and 60, that is a 15. So which one is a less value? So that value we have to consider as a residue. So here we can represent small r. So the small r stands for residue in this demonstration. Okay, so the reminder, so what should be the any reminder? So that reminder can be referred as residue. So if we take the 70 number on this complete string and the value of en is 15, so only we can count the multiple values of en, that is a 15, 30, 45, 60 and 70, but our value of a is a 70, so 70 is in between 60 and 75. Okay, so if we subtract the 60 from 70, the answer is 10. Okay, so the 10 is remainder and that remainder is called as a residue. Okay, so we'll take one more example. So here in a box we can take the value of a is 11 and the value of n is 7. Okay, so now can anyone tell what should be the quotient and what should be the remainder? So again, the division algorithm is A is equal to Qn plus R. So if we take the value of A is 11 and the value of N is 7. So what should be the quotient and what should be the remainder?
Quotient is 1 and remainder is 4.
Okay, so here we can represent quotient is 1 and remainder is 4. So it is for positive integer. So if we take the negative integers, so the value of a is a minus 11 and the value of n is 7. So now tell me what should be the remainder and what should be the quotient? Yes. Yes, have you understood this? How we can calculate the remainder and quotient? So we can take one positive integer and one negative integer. So we have to just uh, compare left hand side and right hand side. Okay, so if we take the value of a is minus 11 and the value of en is 7, so a is minus 11, so that's why we can represent minus 11 is equal to the value of n is 7. So 7 into minus 2, that is a minus 14 plus 3. So that should be the minus 11. So minus 11 is equal to minus 11. So the value of remainder is 3 and the value of quotient is minus 2. Okay, so this is the concept of division algorithm. So now the next concept is the greatest common divisor. Okay, so simply in this case we can find out the common divisor. So if we take the two numbers is a 60 and 24. Now how to find out the so the concept of GCD means simply we have to find out the greatest common divisor. Okay, so if we divide, so if we take the two numbers, so for example we take A and B number as 60 and 24. Okay, so the 60 number can be divided by the various numbers. So it should be divided by 1 also, it should be divided by 2 also, it should be divided by 3, 5, 10, 15, sorry 12, 15. So we can divide 60 by various numbers. So here we can take two numbers 60 and 24. Okay, and if we find out the greatest common divisor of 60 and 24, so that should be the 12. Okay, so the greatest common divisor, so in a GCD we can find out the common divider. So the greatest common divider of 60 and 24 is 12. Yes, have you understood this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so simply it is a mathematical concept. So if we take the number 60, so the 60 number can be divided by 15 also. So why we don't take 15 number? The 24 is not divided by 15. So we have to find out the common divisor. Okay, so the greatest common divisor for 60 and 24. So we have to find out the common greatest divisor from 60 and 24. So 12 is the greatest common divisor for 60 and 24. So that's why we can represent 12. So again, so if we take the second example at 8 and 15, and if there is a no common divisor for 8 and 15, okay, so we can consider the greatest common divisor for these 8 and 15 is 1, and these number are called as a prime numbers, or we can call it as a relatively prime numbers. Okay, so these are the two cases to find out the greatest common divisor. So if we are not able to find out the GCD, so we can call these number as a prime numbers. So here we can take the example as a 8 and 15. Okay, so in order to find out the greatest common divisor, so to find out the greatest common divisor, we have a one particular algorithm, and that algorithm is called as a Euclidean algorithm. Okay, so in order to find the greatest common divisor, we can take the two integers as integer a and integer b. Okay, so based on the division algorithm, so if we take the a is q1, okay, so here we can represent this with the help of division algorithm. A is equal to q1 into b plus r1. Okay, so now if we have to find out the greatest common divisor, so every time there is a, we have to divide the particular number, and we have to compare which number is greater, yeah, which is a common divider. So for that we can use the Euclidean algorithm to find out the greatest common divisor. Okay, so here is the example. Yeah, here is the mathematical representation of GCD, and this representation will have to, yeah, we have to use the Euclidean algorithm for the finding of greatest common divisor. Okay, so here are the first conditions of the Euclidean algorithm. So in Euclidean algorithm, we can represent capital A is equal to small a and capital B is equal to small b. So second is if B is equal to 0, then we can return A is equal to GCD A comma B. So these are the some basic uh, properties of Euclidean algorithm. So now if we have to find out the greatest common divisor by using the this particular algorithm, so we can take the one particular example, and this example we can solve by using the greatest common divisor. Okay, wait a minute. So roll number 21. The time is 12:35. You are joining now. Okay, so we'll take the one example, and that example we can solve by using the greatest common divisor. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, so again, to use the Euclidean algorithm, we have to use the division algorithm. So the statement of division algorithm is A is equal to Qn plus R. Okay, so now we have to find out the greatest common divisor, and we have to solve this example by using the Euclidean algorithm. So what is the basic concept of Euclidean algorithm? So we have to find out the various numbers. Yeah, we have to solve this particular algorithm until the our remainder 0. ठीक आहे, म्हणजे जोपर्यंत रिमाइंडर 0 येत नाही तोपर्यंत we have to solve the Euclidean algorithm. So we have to divide by numbers. We have to find out the greatest common divisor, and for that greatest number, again we can divide by another number. Okay, so here we can take the two numbers as 1970 and 1026. Sorry, 1066. So the value of A is 1970. So here we can represent 1970 is equal to 1 into 1066 plus 904. So if we take this, so if the value of A is 1970 and the value of N is 1066, so what should be the quotient and what should be the remainder? Yes, quickly, anyone? Yes, if the value of A is 1970 and the value of N is 1066. So what should be the quotient and what should be the remainder?
Quotient is 1 and remainder is 904.
Okay, so now tell me, so here we can take the, we have to find out the GCD number, greatest number. So which one is the greatest number, 1066 or 904? So here in bracket we can write GCD 1066 comma 904. So is a remainder is 0.
No.
So we have to again divide our greatest number. We have to take greatest number. So we can take greatest number as 1066. Okay, so if we solve this, so here we can represent 1 into 904 plus 162. So simply we have to compare left hand side and right hand side. So if we take the GCD, so 904 comma 162. So is the remainder is 0?
No.
No. So that's why we take the greater number. So 904. So again we can take left hand side and hand side numbers. So 5 into 162 plus 94. So the GCD is 162 comma 94. So again the remainder is not 0. So we can take the greater number as a 162. That should be equal to 1 into 94. 1 into 94 plus 68. So GCD is 94 comma 68. So again the remainder is not 0. So we can take the greater number as a 94. So that should be equal to 1 into 68 plus 26. So we can perform the operation until the remainder is 0. So up to the last step we got the GCD as a 2 comma 0. Okay, so it is a concept of Euclidean algorithm. So by using the Euclidean algorithm we can divide these particular numbers until our remainder is 0. So here the we got the remainder as a 0, so we stop the operation up to this step. Okay, so it is a concept of Euclidean algorithm. So have you understood it? Yes, have you understood this example?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so up to this point, we'll stop here. There is a one more point from the unit number 2. So we'll take one more point in the next lecture. So today we'll complete our unit number 2. So only one point is remained from unit number 2. So that will take in a next lecture. So now you can put your attendance. Start with roll number 1. Okay, wait a minute. Yes, quickly. 4 5 absent. 6 to 10. 11 to 15. 16 to 20. 21 to 25. 26 to 30. 31 to 35. 36 to 40. 'Wait a minute. 41 to 45. 46 to 50. 51 to 55. 55 to 62. Okay, so today we'll stop here. So last point we'll take in a next lecture. Okay, you can left now. So if anyone remained, you can put your number.